Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to the United Talk. Today we are going to talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the hate that he's getting right now on social media, especially from the fans of Manchester United. We're also going to talk about transfers, of course, Jadon Sancho, Alex Telles. We have to talk about Chris Smalling, Romero, the possible source for a centre back. So lots and lots of stuff to get through today. Let's just get started real quick. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of United fans come out on social media in the last week or so and just chant Oli out, he's not the manager, Oli out, Oli out. And I was thinking to myself, why? What has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer done to deserve this kind of hatred from United fans? Like, what has he done? And it's not about what he can do. I mean, if you're going to come out and say that he cannot win the Premier League for us because he doesn't have that pedigree as a manager, well, right now with this squad, Pep Guardiola cannot win the Premier League with Manchester United. Neither can Jurgen Klopp. With this squad, they can't. Yes, I do agree that we have a good starting 11, minus the defense, by the way, because Victor Lindelof needs to go. But no manager in the world right now can win the Premier League or the Champions League with this squad. Let me tell you this right now. And if you think somebody can, then you're deluded. Because we might have a good starting 11, but we are one injury away from that starting 11 to actually falling down deep from a cliff, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his managerial tenure at Manchester United, yes, he's had some lows in terms of after he was given the job permanently, there was a low time. Last year, before the till the Burnley game, he had a bad time. But then think about it like this: we lacked creativity in midfield because we didn't have Paul Pogba throughout the season because of injury. I was actually happy last season that we got the transfers that we got. But the thing is, we still needed a creative midfielder, and we didn't get it in the summer. It was a desperate need for us to go get Bruno Fernandes in the January transfer window, and nobody can argue with that. It's the truth because we were playing with Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira and Juan Mata in those positions, and they were just not effective, right? So he needed the players, and as soon as he got the players, as soon as he got Harry Maguire, he got Van Bissaka, he got Bruno Fernandes, and you see the change that has brought about in the club. We were 14 points off the third place or the fourth place, if I'm not wrong, something like that, right? And we went 14 games unbeaten to achieve that after the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. Now that's the impact Bruno Fernandes has had for sure. But you can't not just give credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because you look at the emergence of Anthony Martial. Yes, he was a good player before Solskjaer came to the club. But to sell Lukaku to make sure that Martial plays and scores goals for United, I mean, it takes guts to do that. And Martial, the development of Martial that we've seen in the last year, it's because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You talk about Marcus Rashford. Has he scored the number of goals he scored last summer before that? No, he hasn't. That's down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You look at Mason Greenwood and the emergence of Mason Greenwood. That's because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Why do people keep forgetting that? We all love Mason Greenwood. He's come along and he's become the player he is. Of course, he's talented. He has the skill. But it's because of the manager. It's because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because Anthony Martial has the skill, but Jose Mourinho never got the best out of him. So it's because of the manager. Of course, it's because of the manager. And you know what? If you give him all his first priority targets and he fails to deliver third place or second place or close the gap between Liverpool and Man City, then I can argue with you as yes, maybe he deserves to go because he's not the man to take us to the next level. But at least before having that argument, make sure that he gets his number one targets. And again, why does he deserve the sack right now? Just because he lost to Crystal Palace? I mean, the fact that people keep throwing up the Jose Mourinho era and the Jose Mourinho year, where he had a bad squad or a similar squad or a bad squad and still achieved the second position. Well, he comes out and says again and again that achievement was the best achievement of his life, finishing second with that squad. What does that tell you? Of course, it tells you that Jose Mourinho is a good manager, is one of the best managers in the world. But it also tells you that that group of players was not good enough to achieve anything better than the second place that it achieved that year. And to top that, you know what? Why was Jose Mourinho sacked the following year if we had a very good squad? Because we didn't. He had a good achievement where he's finished second with that squad. He was crying out for a centre back. He was crying out for United to get Milan Skriniar from Inter Milan. He didn't get that. He was crying out to get Ivan Perisic. He didn't get that. So he was not back in the transfer window. And that's why You can only achieve this much with this set of players. You need better players. You need a right winger. You need a better centre back. You do need these players. And to top that, people come out and say that Oli, I mean, people are supporting Oli because he's the legend of the club. It's nothing to do with him being the legend of the club. We loved him as a player because he's the legend of the club. Of course, we loved him as a player. But right now, Jose Mourinho came to Manchester United and changed the way we played football. Louis Van Gaal came to Manchester United and changed the way we played football. Side to side passing. Jose Mourinho, low block, defend first. Manchester United historically has been the club which plays attractive football. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the only manager who's actually tried to do that. And if you look at our football post-lockdown, we've played some of the best football that we have in the past 7 years after Sir Alex Ferguson era, after he retired. I mean, this is the fourth manager we have. Sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now, right? Or if we lose the next 3-4 games, sack him. He may probably deserve to get sacked if he loses the next 3-4 games. But if the new manager comes in, Pochettino, what has he won in the game? He's won nothing in the game. He's a good manager. He's a very good manager. He will come along, do well at Manchester United for about 3-4 months, 5-6 months. He's not going to get backed in the transfer market. He's going to come out and moan, and then he's going to be sacked again. I mean, how many times will you keep changing the manager? You have to aim your frustration, your anger at the right direction, which is the board. And let me bring about this transfer market situation with the statement, because what's happening with Chris Smalling? Let me start with Chris Smalling. This is a deal that's the easiest deal to do for Manchester United, because Chris Smalling was away on loan at Roma. He was one of the best defenders in Serie A last season. Best defenders in Serie A last season, right? One of them. Roma want him. He wants to go. United want to sell him. Every party wants the same thing. The two clubs want the same thing. The player wants the same thing. And yet, United are not able to sell Chris Smalling. And I know that is because of the fee, and Roma want to give 12 million and United want 18 million or whatever it is. But then, it's all about the negotiations. What are the people sitting in their jobs doing when they can't even sell the player who wants to go, who is in demand, and there's a club who's dying to get the player? I mean, now you compare the situation to Phil Jones. Nobody out there wants Phil Jones. How are you going to sell him? How are you going to offload him? Nobody out there wants Marcus Rojo. How are you going to offload him? Nobody out there wants Andres Pereira. How are you going to offload him? Because when there's someone who wants to buy a player, you can't still do the deal. You're taking so long to do the deal because Roma wanted Chris Smalling for their Europa League campaign. They didn't get that. They didn't get Smalling for the Europa League. Roma still want Chris Smalling. And it's not, I mean, people say that the Jadon Sancho deal, if it happens, the reason it's taking so long to happen, if it happens, is because it's a complicated deal because of the money it's involved. Chris Smalling is not a complicated deal. The money is less. It's about 18 to 20 million that United want. Right? The money is very less as compared to the Jadon Sancho deal. United want to sell. Milan want to buy. Roma want to buy. Smalling wants to go. It's not a complicated deal, and yet we are taking what? It's been, since the beginning of August, it's been almost 8 weeks, 7 weeks. It's crazy. I mean, what's happening with Sergio Romero? He's still on holiday. Why? Why have you given him extra time off? For what? You need to sell Sergio Romero. You have De Gea as a goalkeeper. You have Henderson as a top-class goalkeeper as well. De Gea performed really well against Crystal Palace, saved the penalty, was unlucky that it was overruled. Henderson performed so well against Luton Town. Now, for me, that's the problem, because if you play Henderson over De Gea on the weekend, De Gea will be like, what have I done wrong? I've played well against Crystal Palace, and why am I sitting on the bench? And by the way, he's the best paid goalkeeper in the Premier League with £350,000 per week. And then you have Dean Henderson, who wants to fight for his place. Now, the good thing is, because De Gea now knows that Henderson can take his place anytime, he will be more focused. Let's just put it that way, and that's a good thing. But then if you have Henderson and if you have De Gea, whether it works or not in the future, that remains to be seen. It's very difficult to work because you have two world-class goalkeepers there. One of them has to sit on the bench regularly. The only way I think it could work is when you make sure that De Gea plays 38 games in a season, all the Premier League games, and you make sure that all the Champions League games, all the Cup games are being played by Henderson. That's the only way I think it's going to work. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to work anyway. So it remains to be seen how United deal with this problem. But they still have Sergio Romero, and I, including a lot of fans and a lot of United fans, have been very vocal about how good a backup goalkeeper Sergio Romero is. I mean, I've come out and said that Sergio Romero is probably the best backup goalkeeper you have amongst all clubs in the world because he's the number one goalkeeper for Argentina, the team that Messi plays for. So he is a very good backup goalkeeper. Now you already have a better backup goalkeeper than a very good backup goalkeeper, plus Lee Grant at the club. You have four keepers at the club. You need to sell one, and you cannot sell Lee Grant because first of all, nobody will buy him. I mean, he'll go for free. And secondly, you can't tell Sergio Romero that he will not be also on the bench. It's just so weird. Why don't you sell Sergio Romero? And I'm sure he'll want to go because he knows that Dean Henderson is ahead of him in the pack. De Gea has been ahead of him. He will want to go. Why don't you sell Sergio Romero? Why don't you sell Chris Smalling till now? What are you waiting for? It's been okay. I need to lower my voice because I think I'm going to increase my blood pressure. But you know what? That's 11 days remaining in the transfer window. 11 days remaining in the transfer window. And United still, I mean, Fabrizio Romano, I heard the podcast. He came out and said that still the number one priority for United is Jadon Sancho on the right wing. He's still the number one priority, and there's still no update on Jadon Sancho. Look, the people who've come out and said that buy anyone else, buy a right winger. Now, I have two answers for that. Number one, why do you want to settle? If you as fans settle, you're playing in the hands of the board and what exactly the board wants because the board will get you someone like an Ishmael Sarr. And you know what? If I was dealing with this situation, my second target would have been Adama Traore. His crossing ability is good. He's strong. He's fast. He's played there a long time for Wolves. He scores goals. He gives assists. I mean, yeah, he's not Jadon Sancho, but at least then you understand that this is the backup. They're talking about Douglas Costa. They were talking about Douglas Costa, which is Wolves don't want Douglas Costa, and we were linked with him. We were considering him. That's crazy. I mean, if so, the second thing that I want to say is, first of all, why are you settling for a second option? Did Chelsea second settle for all their second options? No, they bought all their first options. And oh, by the way, if you hear the Fabrizio Romano podcast, now the last target for them, which remains, is Declan Rice. And Declan Rice will want to move to Chelsea, and he's going to push West Ham to leave the club and join Chelsea. And for me, I mean, look at the people who are handling this deal. Look at the people who've done all the deals for Chelsea this summer. It's Peter Cech, who's the goalkeeper, who was the legendary goalkeeper. He has a football brain. You look at Bayern Munich, and someone in the comment section mentioned that the second favorite club is Bayern Munich. It should be because there's a lot of things that you can learn from Bayern Munich. You have to admire the way Bayern Munich does business because they were able to replace their aging wingers in Ribery and Robben so easily. They've been at the top of Bundesliga for so long. I know it's a farmers' league in a way, but then still, they've also dominated Europe a lot. They've been in the later stages of the Champions League almost every year. So you need to, and who's managing Bayern Munich? It's the bunch of footballers there who are leading the club. It's every club, and with United, I mean, it's a joke. It's really a joke. How are you going to offload Phil Jones? I mean, again, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in as an interim manager, he joined the club in December, if I'm not wrong. January, Phil Jones got a new 5-year contract. Phil Jones. Whose decision was it to give Phil Jones a new 5-year contract? I'm sure it was not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he was still an interim manager. It was someone at the board at the club who decided to give Phil Jones a new 5-year contract and let Ander Herrera's contract run down. Can you compare the two players? You cannot. I mean, oh my god, this is, the more I talk about it, the more I feel that I'm going to just lose my shit. Seriously. Jadon Sancho, the second thing, I just got away from the topic. Jadon Sancho, the second thing I wanted to talk about is, if you don't have the money to sign Jadon Sancho, which United claim that they don't, why are you still talking to him? You talked to Borussia Dortmund throughout the lockdown. You said, okay, fine, we want Jadon Sancho. You thought Borussia Dortmund are going to lower their price. You didn't know about the third year, which I find it hard to believe, but still. You went to Borussia Dortmund in the beginning of August. and you said, here's the deal, here's the money, take it or leave it, and they said, no, we don't want this, we want 108 million pounds, you knew that time that Borussia Dortmund will not accept anything less than 108 million pounds. You tried for a week or two, it didn't happen. So why are we still talking? If we don't have the money, let's say we don't have the money and they really cannot invest in Jadon Sancho, then move on. Look at other options. Who are the other options? Ishmael Sarr is the other option with Watford, who's got relegated. I mean, why not Adama Traore? Why not get the deal done? What are you waiting for? We wanted Reguilon. Reguilon wanted to come to United, and it didn't happen. I mean, yeah, I do agree why it didn't happen. I will support the club in that. But then still, you look at the number of failed transfers that have resulted this summer, and it will just baffle your mind. I mean, Romano came out and said that United need to sell players before they can buy. So then sell. Just sell. What are you doing there sitting on your backside for 7 to 8 weeks, not doing anything? And I'll tell you what, the reason we got Van de Beek so quickly is because of Edwin van der Sar. Because he loves United, because he wants United to have Van de Beek, so he pushed the deal. It's crazy. I mean, Telles, right? Now, it's a well known fact that we won Telles. Romano came out and said that United went last Friday, right? And told Porto that they want to sign Alex Telles and they will sign Alex Telles. That's how confident they are. Now, the demanding price, the asking price is 20 million. 20 million for a left back who's 27 right now, going to 28 in the winter. It's not much really. What are you negotiating for? I mean, the personal terms are not a problem. What is the negotiation about? I mean, it's been what, 10 days now since we've been linked to Alex Telles. 10 days, almost 2 weeks, and we are nowhere near getting Alex Telles right now. We might just get him today or tomorrow, but it seems very very difficult. Why not get the deal done? The right winger is missing. Alex Telles, the left back, is missing. And oh, by the way, Romano also came out and said that if they sell Chris Smalling, they will want to buy a new centre back. If you want to sell Chris Smalling, what is if there? There's no if. Smalling wants to go, you want to sell, Roma want to buy, sell him and get a new centre back, get Badia Shield, get Upamecano. I know you cannot get Upamecano now because he's just signed a new contract. But what's the if? You need a new centre back and you need Chris Smalling to leave. It's just, for me, it's this club is being driven down to the ground by these owners, by the people who negotiate. We have such a bad reputation. Imagine the frustration that United fans have right now. And then think about the other teams or other clubs who deal with these people, and they'll be like, we don't want to do deals with you. I mean, we'll sell it to someone who's actually easier to deal with, who's going to give us the money up front. I mean, it's crazy because right now, I was always confident that we're going to get signed Jadon Sancho, but now I'm feeling we may or we may not. I don't know. And you know what? If we do end up signing Jadon Sancho for the amount of money that Dortmund want anyway, I'm going to be even more pissed because if you had to give them 120 million euros or 108 million pounds before only, I mean, right now, then why didn't you give it to them before? Why are you delaying this? Why are you delaying this? Look, it doesn't take away from the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made some mistakes and he will continue to make mistakes. The fact that this team is good enough to defeat teams like Crystal Palace it remains, right? But the fact that people forget that we defeated Chelsea home and away last season in the Premier League, we defeated Man City home and away last season in the Premier League, we defeated Tottenham and drew away, we drew Arsenal and lost away, we drew at home to Liverpool and lost away, we defeat Leicester home and away. So that's two defeats of the six clubs that I mentioned. Two defeats, right? Two defeats and two draws, and all of them are the wins. We've done so well against the top sides. It's the bottom sides we haven't done well against. And I know Solskjaer needs to improve, but come on, seriously, the real frustration is the board. It is the board, and we need to do something. I mentioned in a previous video about KG from the United Stand and what he's trying to do, the comedian. I fully support him. I mean, by the end of the transfer window, if we don't get the number one priority players that we need to get, let's just boycott Glazers. Let's boycott Glazers. I mean, I don't want us to boycott the players because the players deserve our support. They have done nothing wrong. The United players have done nothing wrong. But these owners are driving us to the ground. They're burning down the history, the magic of Old Trafford. They're burning down Manchester United. And we need to do something. We need to. I know we should not resort to violence or anything, and I don't agree with that. But the thing is, what can we do as people? That they don't give a shit. The owners don't give a shit about fans. What we can do is we can make a statement by coming out and saying, we're not going to give you all those engagements and clicks and all the things that you get right now, which you show it to your shareholders in the meetings. We're not going to give you that. Look at the amount of sponsors they've had. They say that they don't have money. Look at the amount of sponsors they have on the website. And if you go on the website, there's an entire section on sponsors, and there's so many sponsors there. You say we don't have money. It's crazy. You sell all the deadwood and you get money. You don't renew the contracts of the likes of Phil Jones and Andres Pereira. You save the money. Imagine how much money we are saving right now because we sold Alexis Sanchez for free. We are making money. We are saving money because we sold him for free. Imagine. Why is there a need to give Phil Jones a contract which is worth £70,000 a week? Phil Jones, who's not played a game for Manchester United since a year now, is sitting there earning £70,000 a week for being injured year after year. He's always injured and he's earning £70,000 a week. You know what? If I was Phil Jones, I would have done the same thing. I'm not playing, I'm not even training, and I'm sitting in my house and I'm getting paid for what? Watching television and spending time with my family. I'm getting paid for doing nothing. And it's crazy. It just tells you how United is being run by these idiots. I mean, look, I can go on and on about this, and I need to stop sometime. So it's frustrating. Let's see what happens. Alex Telles looks like the next signing. It could be, it may not be, because with United you cannot be sure about anything. They do need a left back. They don't do want a left back. They need a centre back, and they want a right winger. So let's see what happens. Till the next time, guys. Take care.